All right, we can perhaps turn back to our guest, Michel Yakovleff, the former lieutenant general who now teaches at the Paris School of International Affairs. Perhaps you'd like to respond to what we've been hearing from Philip Turle. What do you foresee as possible scenarios for Iran in the coming days?
Well, I think we're going to go into more strikes, more days of strikes, and strikes from the Iranians. My concern is that the American strategy, I believe, is much more short-lived than the Iranian strategy. The Iranian theory of victory, theory of victory, is that we just outlast the storm. So when the Americans and or the Israelis get fed up, we send a last salvo to show them that we're still alive and kicking. The armada that Trump talks about is a large armada by any measure, but historically it's not that large. And in reality, it's a few days worth of massive strike. After that, it will have to go into a lower tempo of operations, much lower, significantly, visibly lower. And I also wonder for how long the Israelis can keep up with hundreds of missions every day over Iran. So my concern is if by the time they've expended their first oomph and first serious salvos, the Israelis and the Americans actually run out of ammunition and or run out of targets, and the regime is still there, well, what next?
Both Israel and the United States have been, urging the Iranian people to somehow rise up, saying, we've weakened the government. This is your chance. Is that a totally unrealistic expectation? I mean, we have seen celebrations, but we're also seeing pictures of huge crowds mourning the former Ayatollah.
Yeah, it's. I don't know enough of Iranian society to say if it's unrealistic or not, but it's a bit preposterous from the American president to say, to believe he can say, let's say in 2 or 3 days, I've done my part of the job, now it's yours to take over. That's the easy way out. Now, Trump has a tradition of betraying all his allies, the last ones being the Ukrainians, and before that it's been the Afghans. I doubt that there is that degree of faith in the Iranian public. In reality, it's a really open question. Everyone knows that Trump wants this to be a few days. Regime change has never been achieved that way in history. Now, this could be a first, and personally, I'd welcome it, and I'd be very glad to be proved mistaken. But I can understand that the Iranian public, it's very easy to say, just do your revolution and finish the job. That's very easy from an American president at a distance.
So it sounds like in the short term, as you said, this is a military success, but long term, if what you're saying comes to pass and, the U.S. and Israel kind of lose their steam at a certain point and then the Iranian regime does rise back, even if it's weak, does that mean that long term this will have been for nothing?
Well, if that is what unfolds, then it will be worse than it will have been for nothing. It will have demonstrated the limits of American and Israeli power. Now, we're not there yet. There's a real string of tactical successes, and it may be, and I hope, by the way, that the regime is far closer to crumbling than itself believes, and that this would be the last nudge that would, in effect, actually achieve a strategic objective. So that's the positive way of looking at things, the hopeful way of looking at things. If it doesn't work out that way, and the regime outlasts the current storm, then it's very bad news for the free world. because it will have demonstrated the limits of American power.